If you're struggling to market your complex industrial products, here are the 4 steps you need to take. Everybody's ready to get into it. Let's get into this episode. What are we talking about today? We're talking about content marketing for complex industrial products. If you guys are not in complex industrial products, there's still information that you can learn from this. And even if you're on the services side, complex services too, you guys need to pay attention to this. It's all about content marketing. This has been the theme for, I'd say, the last 12 to 18 months is it's all about content. How much content are you producing? And it's a simple equation for that. And there's a simple reason for it is that, before I get into my topics, let me just draw a real quick picture over here. So if this is you and this is your customer, you have this wall in between you, and this wall is noise. But what I mean by noise is, this is their personal problems, this is work life, this is politics, this is stuff they see on social media. And in order for you to break through this noise and actually get your message directly to them, you have to try and focus on these channels and create something that is going to resonate. So from a simple standpoint of you're trying to reach somebody, it does not matter who it is in industrial. It does not matter if they're an engineer, purchasing, operations, going after facilities maintenance. None of that matters. Everybody has noise that's blocking their inbox. I don't mean literally email, their phone calls, their messages on LinkedIn, their attention, trade shows, etc. Everybody has this noise barrier up. Your goal as a marketer is to figure out, how do I break through that noise? The best way to do it is going to be with content, because this is what has mattered, like I said, for the last year to year and a half, and this is what is going to continue to matter for the next at least couple of years. Now, how you do it and all of those things will change based on algorithms, based on tools, based on platforms. There will be minor tweaks there, but in general, it's all about content. And industrial companies are not producing enough content to break through that noise. It's that simple. They think, I'm going to wait for when somebody needs me, I'm going to focus on my SEO. And when they need me, they're going to search and I'm going to show up. But you have to go on the offense if you're looking to grow. Now, if you guys are happy with your growth, you're probably not paying attention to any of my content because you're like, we're good. I don't need some dude in a studio telling me what I should be doing. But if you guys are looking to grow, which hopefully you are, especially if you're paying attention to my content, in order to do that, you have to take massive amounts of action, and content should be the common denominator with all your strategies. It's like, what are we going to create? We can do these things, web, SEO, social, etc., but you have to have something you're creating and putting onto those platforms. So let's get into the main topics. Number one for complex industrial products, simple solution. You guys overcomplicate your stuff. You guys are making things way more complicated than they need to be. You're not always going to be focusing on selling to an engineer. Even if engineers are your target demographic, you guys are overcomplicating that. You're overcomplicating the marketing process, and you're focusing on specs and sell sheets versus a solution. Everybody has a problem. Whether they know it or not, everybody has a problem. It's your job from a marketer standpoint to work with sales to figure out what are the common problems when they're having conversations. This is what I always talk about. Sales and marketing have to be together. They have to be united. They have to be speaking to each other. But usually in industrial, for all my redheaded people out there, I apologize in advance. Marketing is the redhead stepchild. It's the place where you'd go to create pretty things. That's what it's traditionally been. It's the department that is usually the smallest, but can provide the most massive amount of impact to the top of the funnel. It's also one of the most disrespected departments. Historically, rightfully so. I'm with you. I agree with it. Traditionally, 10, 15, 20 years ago, marketing's job was to support trade shows in industrial. Things have changed over the last 20 years. Stuff is more digital. Your website is a 24/7 marketing and selling machine. People come to it at all hours of the day. You're not relying on a salesperson to take some amount of action. Marketing is used in so many different ways to drive traffic to it, to set up warm calls for salespeople. But they're still not talking together frequently enough. So you have to start there. If you want to truly market, you have to talk to salespeople. You can do all your research, and you can say, here's my market research, this is what people need, this is what people want, this is what the data show me. That's fine. And that's a good foundation. But before you can really execute, you have to talk to the salespeople, because you have to understand the conversations that the salespeople are having. What are the questions that you're asking? Now, if your salespeople are like, dude, I go in there, I show up and throw up. I just say, here's the spec sheets on this machine. Here's the stuff we can do from a service standpoint. Here's the solution that all my products can solve for you. All of this data. A data-driven technical sale is not going to work as well as a solution-based selling method. This is what I've taught for over a decade, is you have to ask questions to figure out the problem, provide a solution to them that's going to build that trust, and then get them to buy into your brand or what the solution is. Obviously, there's steps in between there, but that's the general consensus. And so what's happening is you're overcomplicating the marketing. When you're doing email marketing with, like, you're sending out content through email marketing, they're long emails explaining like, oh, here's all the benefits of what our product can do, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's reading it. Engagement is low. Open rate is not the best. I mean, that's probably because of the system you're using, the list you're building, et cetera. Stuff that we fix every day for our clients here at Manufacturing Tribe, every single day. This is what we do. So don't just take my word for it. Take the word of the last 8 years that this agency has been around. When I originally started it, we have been doing services strictly for industrial, and all of this data gets added up. And every single day and every single month, we're going through what's working, what's not, minor tweaks, et cetera. And we make pivot adjustments on a monthly basis for our customers and for ourselves. So we know what's working today may not work as well 30 days from now, and there's going to be an adjustment. What I know for certainty has worked for the last 10 years and will continue to work is a solution-based selling. And so marketing has to talk to sales, and you have to ask, what are the most frequently asked questions? Start there. What are the FAQs in the selling process? What do people ask about specifically on the product? When you ask people, well, hopefully you're doing solution-based selling. When the salespeople ask people, what are the common issues that you're having right now in your shop? What are the common issues you're having right now in whatever it is that you're selling, right? When they ask that question, what are the most common answers? And so you gather that information from them because they're the source. They're out there every day having conversations. So you gather all of that information and you build your marketing around it from a simplistic standpoint. Don't talk about your specs. That's great. You can have a spec sheet for those that want to nerd out and go through all the details on the product life cycles testing and all these things and purification and all that stuff. That's fine. Have that. I'm not saying don't have that, but don't lead with that. You need to lead with something simplistically. Do you care about the health of your employees from an air quality standpoint? Yes, I do. Okay, I've got a solution for you, right? It's that type of simple. Now, you wouldn't sell it like that, but it's that type of mindset, is keep it very simple. And the best way to do it is start with the frequently asked questions. So when the salespeople are going through their sales pitch, what questions are they asking? Gather all that information. What are the responses? Oh, they don't know. They're not tracking it. They should be tracking it. Talk to the leader in sales and say, I need to track this for the next 30, 60, 90 days. I need to know every single answer to every question. Put it in a CRM system. Put it on a Google Sheet doc, something. I need to know what problems are people having. And then I'm going to create content based on the problems, because the goal of the content is, if you put a piece of content in front of somebody and it resonates with them, and it's related to what they do, and it's relative to everything that they're doing on a daily basis, they will click. They will at least pause if they're going through social. They will click if you send it an email. All of that stuff will happen. If they do a Google search and they see something that's relevant to them, they will go there. It will grab their attention, at least for a period of like 5 to 7 seconds. Then they're going to click. So the first step in creating content for industrial is get them to pause. That's what I always tell people. Especially on social, LinkedIn, you're scrolling through, whatever you're doing, whatever your creative is, the goal of the creative is to get them to pause. Once you can get them to pause, it better be simple and direct and to the point, not a bunch of distractions. Then you're getting them to engage after that. Then once you get them to engage, then you go through and offer up solutions and tell a story and et cetera, on a web page, which we'll get into that. But that's the ultimate goal. But you have to dumb it down. You have to, like, Kyle, I'm going after engineers. Don't care. Engineers are people. Yes, are they smart? Sure, everybody's smart in some ways. Engineers are not smarter than ops people necessarily, maybe from a technical standpoint. But do you think that the engineer is going to be searching and wants to know the exact details right away? Probably not. How are you going to hook them in with keeping it simple? The next thing, point number 2, you have to educate them. You have to educate them because they don't know what they don't know, they don't know. And they don't know what they don't know until you educate them. Talk to so many people that have products and services and they're like, Kyle, I want to book time with you guys, talk about how we're going to market this thing. I'm like, okay, cool. What is it that you do? They explain what they do. They explain what the product does. Okay, who are your competitors? We don't have any. Nothing like this has ever been created. I'm like, do you really believe that? They're like, yeah, no, there's no competitors out there. Okay, so when you look at it from that standpoint, your competitors is the old way of doing things. If you've got some new tool, some new technology, some new product, some new solution to their problems, your competitors is traditional. Whatever they're currently doing to solve that problem, the old way, is your competition. And the problem in the industrial world is unless it's, if you're doing robotics and you're focusing on efficiencies with operations, they have a higher likelihood to spend money because it's like I can track it down to the bottom line. If you implement this ERP system, if you implement this solution with this robot or these cobots or this automation line or this conveyor, I can break it down from a simplistic standpoint and say this thing will move more parts through your facility, which will result in this increase in your efficiency and this increase in your throughput, which then results in more dollars, et cetera, et cetera. Very simple math. But if your competition is traditional, you gotta educate them. You have to. You have to educate them on why your solution is better than traditional. Again, point number 1, keep it simple. It's like screwdriver to a drill, right? This sucks. Using a drill and just doing it quickly, speed, that's good. So like breaking it down that simplistically, instead of talking about like the motor of the drill and the battery life and all this stuff, I'm talking about like back when drills were first invented. Think about this. When a drill was corded versus cordless. Cordless drills came out, it was just simply, dude, you don't need to plug it in anywhere. Oh my God, that's awesome. So regardless of how complex your product is, regardless of what the traditional method is, you have to understand that you have to educate them, but you have to do it from a simplistic standpoint. If I told you that industrial marketing is all I know, all I do, you will learn some stuff on here, that's simple. If I said, hey, if you're looking to increase your click-through rate and your pipeline stages and number of deals coming into your funnel, then you need to talk to me. No, you're going to be like, that's too much in the weeds because maybe you don't have that problem. And so this is one of the issues that if you don't do it simplistically, you're going to assume that they have a problem when maybe that specific person doesn't. And even when you do it from a question-based standpoint, maybe that specific question doesn't resonate with them. Like, are you sick and tired of having to plug in your drill? To a person that doesn't care about that, they're like, nope, I love it. I've got long extension cords and I've got power everywhere I go. So they'll just go right past it. Whether it's a audio ad, a video ad, a YouTube ad, social media, emails, whatever, it does not matter. If they don't have that problem, they're going to be like, most of them are going to be like, nope, I'm going to scroll past it. So when you're educating them, how are we going to do it? Well, think about how do you like to be educated? Education, the fastest way is going to be video. Creating content. What's another way you can educate people? Well, you got to go on the platforms where they're at. Social, specifically LinkedIn. Then the third way is going to be the written word. This is still, these two, articles and videos, is still like, you can't show me data that's going to say like 94% of people like videos more than articles. I'm always going to say it's 50-50. In industrial, it's still 50-50. Engineers, it's still 50-50 because there's going to be no data that is that specific to be able to say, this one is better than that. Now, you can have case studies where you say, I sent out 1,000 videos, 1,000 articles, or I sent out 10,000 emails with videos, links to videos and links to articles, and videos had a higher click-through rate. Okay, yes, for that specific data set, that is true. But across the board to everybody, you can't say that engineers like one or the other. I'm always going to say it's 50-50. The platform where you can get their attention is on LinkedIn. Not all the time, but this is the way that you educate people. I personally like video the best not because it's like, Kyle, you just love videos because you love seeing yourself. I didn't used to. Years ago, before I made over 1,000 videos. I hate a video, but it's the fastest way to get a message across. And it gets people's attention. If you do video right and you hit them with a question and tell a story in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, you're going to get their attention. And when you're going through a feed, especially on social, and there's not that much video, or the way it looks is not going to be exactly the same as everything else, that is how you stand out. Going to the first point, breaking through the noise. The noise of social media. Engineers go on LinkedIn to read content and to look for jobs. You think that the days of the early 2000s and the 1980s are still around, where people stay at companies for 20 plus years? Not as frequently these days. And if you're going after the younger generation with your marketing, you're going after a 24 to 28-year-old engineer, they will most likely work at a few places in their career. So they're going to be using LinkedIn. I'm not saying daily or weekly. Salespeople aren't more than marketing, etc. But you have to educate them on platforms that they pay attention to. So social, email, trade shows, etc. They're already going there. They already have it. You have to get their attention with the content, and you have to have a mix of video plus written. You don't know what that specific person wants. So you got to do both. And if you're like, I don't have the budget for it, okay, start with one, get some revenue, save that money, invest into the other, and be equally pushing. Video has its place. YouTube is the second most popular search engine in the world. It beats out everybody else with the exception of Google. When people are Google searching, videos show up, articles show up. Videos are optimized for SEO on YouTube and a little bit on Google. Articles are optimized for SEO on Google. When they search, here's an article, here's a video. Which one do they want to click? Which one do they want to watch? Even in your videos, you can talk about articles. You're just trying to get their attention and educate them a little bit. And it could be a long process. If you've got a complex, newer industrial product or a complex service, your education time period could be lengthy. So you have to look at that too. What is the time period to educate? If this is day one, it may take, I don't know, may take 60 days, and then that's enough. It may take, I don't know, 260 days. Everybody's going to be different. There's going to be somebody at 30 days. You educate them, and they're purchasing at this point. They're bought in. For all marketers out there, they're straight up marketers. Salespeople should already know this. I talk about it all the time. You can't close somebody until there's trust. If you're still watching this and you were watching it in the beginning, you are still watching it because you are trusting that either I've said something that resonates with you, or you're trusting that I'm going to say something that you're going to be like, I'm going to take value from that. He's going to say something. I trust that he's going to say something. But before a deal can be done, you have to build trust. The way to build trust is to educate people, to solve a problem, not to just spit out specs and just show your spec sheets and all that stuff. You have to tell a story. You have to resonate with them and say, these are the top problems that we're having. Here's some content that's going to talk about those problems and talk about how this solution can solve those problems for you. It's all about the story. If you have a bunch of videos up in a library, people will click through them. If you're posting regular stuff on social with videos and articles, people will click and engage on what they like. It's that simple. Number three. Let's go over here for number three. This is going to be all jacked up. One day we'll have a fancy board or something, right, Laura and Riley? Consistency. I'm consistently using a whiteboard for the last 10 lives or something like that. I'm going to be consistently using something better. Consistency. This is the difference between breaking through that noise and not. You create one piece of content, nobody cares. You create one video series, nobody cares. You do one article, does not matter. It's a moment in time. And at that time, will you get attention? Yeah, you probably could. But if you're not doing it consistently, every single week, every single day, pushing something out there, you don't know the market and when they have a need. This is industrial. I would say in general, sales and marketing is all about timing in general, right? I can call you today and say, hey, we just got a brand new car in. Are you interested? And you're like, nope, just bought one. Don't care. You can get something in the mail that's like healthcare, whatever. Don't care. Just got it. But everything's based on timing, and especially in industrial. You can call somebody today and say, You guys having issues with your efficiency and your throughput? Are you having issues with rust? Are you having issues with downtime on your equipment? And they're like, nope, nope. And you call somebody, you market to somebody, and they're like, yes, I do have that right now. So because it is all about timing, the whole goal of marketing is to make your brand so well known with that person that ideally when they have that need come up, they think of you. Well, the only way to do that is if you've done enough marketing, broken it down simplistically, educated them throughout the process to where when they do have a need, they're like, yes, I want to call that person. I want to buy that product. There's tons of things that I see every single day and I'm like, ooh, I love that. I would love to have that. Don't need it. It's like a need it or want it. I'm like, I want that, but I don't need it. But when I do need it, I'm going to get that. Or I'm going to develop a need to where even if I don't need it, I think that I need it because I'm bringing emotional into it. Because I'm so emotionally attached to that cool product that I'm like, I'm gonna subconsciously generate a need out of thin air, even though it's not real. I'm not letting my logical brain think it's strictly an emotion-based sell, and I'm gonna purchase that thing. But with you guys, you have to be doing it consistently. Usually, what happens is like, we got a new product, we're gonna do a product release. We're going to talk about this. We're going to be on a show, and we're going to do a PR newswire press release. We're going to push it out there, and they're just like, all right, let's go. Let's wait. And then like a couple things trickle through like, let's go, dude. We got this new product is going out there. People know about it. And then it just all fizzles away. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do something else. We got to push this out. We're going to do a video shoot. We're going to use an influencer. We're going to use a LinkedIn industrial influencer, and they're going to push this out there. And then it's like, okay, you got some attention around it. Number one, did it result in actual revenue for you? Usually not. Sometimes, usually not, because there's really nothing in it for that person. Like, oh yeah, I shot a video with your stuff. Cool. I got 168 likes. Great. Did it result in actual money? Usually not. But it's like you have to have the schedule set. You cannot have your up and down of like peaks and valleys. You can't have it like that. You cannot be inconsistent with your marketing and inconsistent with the creation of your content unless you want to be inconsistent with activity. If you're fine with that, if you're like, we're small to start off, we want slow and steady growth. That's something we hear a lot, right? With this brand, it's in a new market, it's complex product. We don't really know the market. We've got the team in place, but we want slow, steady growth. I hate those words. I hate the word slow. I want nothing to ever be slow. Usually people don't want things slow either. They just convince themselves that that's going to justify why they're going slow is because they said, yeah, we want control. You can have control and speed at the same time. It's just called controlled speed. It's called controlled growth. Growth to me is different than growth to a lot of people. I see growth like this, not like this. I want to move quickly because time is of the essence, because you never get necessarily another day. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to be consistent. Push it out there. You want growth to happen. If you just test it for a week, it's not going to show you enough data points, but you have to be consistently pushing content out there. Kyle, how are we going to create the topics for this content? Go back to bullet point number 1. Ask questions from your sales team. Ask questions from your potential customers. Okay, Kyle, we're going to do a focus group. Cool. Is it really a focus group though? Or is this like 86 people you found on Facebook? They're like, yeah, I'm kind of in this space. Your salespeople have all of the answers that you need as marketers. They know what conversations are being had. Ask them to record. If they're doing video meetings, ask them to record every single one. Put one of your marketing people to watch it. Watch it at 2x speed. Ask them for their notes from the call. Ask them to put those notes in a CRM system. We had a meeting, we had a presentation. These are the top hurdles that we're trying to overcome. All right, I'm going to make marketing around that. Consistently make marketing around it. Break it into 5 bullet points. What's your value proposition? What's your 5 problems that you're solving? That's your value proposition. I'm going to create content around it, but not just one video to solve this one problem, one video for the next one. I got my 5 FAQs. I'm going to do a video for each. Sure, that's a starting point. Why not do 50 videos for each? Why not take one topic and break it into 50 subtopics or micro pieces of content? Do one general video that's like in 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm going to explain this problem that our customers typically face and how we have solved it before. But then I'm going to take little clips of that to create more and more content, or little subshoots of like that topic broken out, right? Do a content wheel. So like, this is the problem that they have. The wear and tear on this machine. Okay, how does our product? Hey guys, how does our product solve the wear and tear on this machine? Oh, well, we've got lubricity, and we've got Teflon, and we've got urethane, and it does all these things. And it can handle the heat environments, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, all of those need to be broken out, but simplify it, right? Simplify it with your messaging. Usually, it just gets way too technical. And the fourth one, this is the fun one, is going to be send it. And what I mean by send it is your web page and your calls to actions. Usually, what people do is they do not focus enough attention on this or this. So you're sending traffic to a place that is not ready to receive that traffic because you've never really gone through it. You're like, dev team created something, looks good, stamp it for approval, but are you tracking the performance of that? You need to make sure that everything matches up. You're simplifying your messaging. You're simplifying your branding. You're trying to resonate with the person. You can go through the whole persona thing. Sure, great. I've talked to companies where they have like 12 different personas. They went through the persona mapping and did all this stuff. I'm like, what are you guys doing with all that information? All I need to know from you in this 30-minute call is job function, size of company, and industry. And I'll tell you how to market it. You can go through all that stuff. Cool. That's like higher education stuff. Like, that's college degree people's way of doing it, right? That's not me. I look at it simplistically, and it works. But you have to make sure that everything lines up. Your content has to be pushed in multiple different places. You have to have your content on that landing page. When they come to that landing page, what are they going to see? Is it going to be simple, or is it going to be like show up and throw up? Change it all. Tear it down, rebuild it. That's the way to do it. Lead with those questions. Understand it from their mindset. They've got a problem. They're looking at you for a solution. They're not just kicking the tires on a car lot, right? They've got a problem. They're looking for a solution. Are you there to resonate with the solution? Are you having these problems? They're going to have one of the problems. If so, click here, expand on it, watch a video solving that problem. How does the product solve the problem? If they want to go deeper into the tech, you have it available for them to go deep into the specs and everything that it is that you do, but keep it very simple and tell a story. When I come to the page, I want the story to be told. Start with the problem, go into how you offer the solution, go into the benefits, et cetera, but update your landing page and all your call to actions too on the landing page. What are you trying to get them to do? When you created this marketing strategy, the goal was what? You had some end goal in mind. So what are you looking for them to do? And all of your call to actions better be on it. I've seen numerous landing pages where there's like 47 calls to action. Download one of these books and guides. Download these brochures and et cetera. Click time to book a call with us. Fill out this form. Wait, hey, there's a newsletter at the bottom. Wait, you're about to leave. Here's a pop-up, 10% off. It's like all of these actions are taking place. If you just simplify it and just say, there's one call to action I want them to do. I want them to click here to take them to whatever the call to action is. And you can have maybe two where it's like they're not ready to purchase now. So if you're not ready to purchase now, if you're not ready to sign up now, if we haven't done enough from a sales and marketing standpoint to convince you that you need this solution, then do this thing. Newsletter sign up, download a guide, follow us on like whatever it is. Most likely like a newsletter sign up. Stay in touch with the latest technology that we're coming out with. That's fine. But the focus of all of this is when you're doing all that content marketing, articles, videos, pushing them out there, the goal is to bring them to the website to have them take action. Your website better be ready to accept that traffic and take action. And you better be tracking it to see where did they come from, what did they engage with, and how far did they go down on your webpage. All that information should be tracked so you can see. Nobody's ever clicking this stuff down there. They're all focusing up here. Heat maps, scroll maps, click maps, all that stuff. There's tons of solutions out there depending on what platform yours is built on. If you're like, we're a small company or we've got this built on WordPress, there's tons of plugins. Crazy Egg is the coolest, I think, for WordPress. But you can track all that and then you make adjustments. So maybe nobody's even seen your content on your page because they don't scroll down that far. Move it up higher. But it all has to start with content to tell a story, offer a solution, theoretically ask the questions by knowing the FAQs from the salespeople, tell the story, build the trust, get them to take action. It's that simple. Guys, appreciate you sticking on this long with me, putting those comments, sharing this with people that you know, engaging with me today. It has been fun. Be sure to tune in live next Tuesday, same time. We're going to post it. Be sure to follow the page. If you guys want to check out the YouTube channel, head over to YouTube. Just type in my name. Subscribe to it. Turn on notifications. If you guys want to listen to the podcast, all this long-form content is on the podcast, Industrial Sales and Marketing with me on every major platform. We will see you on the next one.